Hello there, YouTubers and weavers. And I've got my smallest loom out today. It's my oldest loom. I'm at Heritage Hill State Park in Green Bay, and we're participating in a reenactment of the time period of what's called the 7 Years' War in most of the world, but in North America and the United States it's called the French and Indian War. And I've reenacted this time period for ages. And one of the things, I'm getting too old to be a soldier, so I show a period trade, and that trade happens to be weaving. So I've got my loom here, and I'm working. I'm using really cheap cotton as my thread today. But the process that I'm doing is exactly what would have been done in any weaving. And we've had a lot of families with kids come through, and it's fun to show them how cloth is made. So today I'm weaving really simple material. It's the peaches and cream cotton that you can get at Walmart. And the pattern that I'm doing is one of Jane Stafford's patterns from her Beyond Plain Weave online guild. It's just that I'm doing it in a much thicker thread than she used. So this is plain weave. It's kind of a variation on log cabin, and just something like I say, this is my oldest loom. Dark light, dark light. This was the first loom I built out in the garage. It took me almost a month and a couple cases of beer to get it made, but it works. It's not a very fancy loom, and you've not seen it very much on my YouTube channel because I don't use it very often. But for going to events like this, since it's my smallest loom, it's the most portable one. So that's this. I'll take the camera in a minute and walk around and show you a little bit more of this reenactment and some of the reenactors that are here. Alright, YouTubers, now I've taken the camera back from my camera person, who's the lady sitting on the ground with the pillow and the very light green top right there. And I'm sorry that there's so much noise here. Unfortunately, the park is right next to some heavy traffic roads. But this is the small encampment of French and Indian War stuff. I've got a trade blanket there. You've seen the blanket before if you've seen my old videos, because I made that about 5 years ago, and just a couple examples of towels that I made. And here we've got a militia pack, what a militiaman would have had in their pack during the French and Indian War time period. So there's that. And we're in that part of the park which is considered in the fur trade era. And here's the garden that is at the park for that time period. It's the fur trade garden, and it's basically done in the style of planting that the Native Americans used, where they call it the Three Sisters, and I don't remember what all of them are, but two of them are the corn, and then the bean plants can grow up on the corn stalks, and the squash plants are all around the corn. Now, the corn's long since dried up, but there's a few squashes down in there still. So, and there was some onion plants along here and some mint. Over here there's a fly for some shade. You can see the bake oven back there. We'll zoom in on that. There's the bake oven. Yesterday there was a fire in there and they baked some bread in that, a couple loaves of bread. So, and then this is the fur trade cabin. Well, YouTubers, got a little bit of a treat here. There's a lady who's a friend of mine who's also here at this reenactment, and she brought a tape loom, and I've never shown a tape loom before because I don't have one. So we're gonna go over and see what Peg's weaving.
Hi Andy and YouTubers. This is a tape loom. It is basically a rigid heddle loom. So we've got our warp here. We've got not much wound up here yet. That's how much I've done. And it's also called a box loom because of the shape. And some of them you could actually fold this piece down so you could like pick it up and go. It's very portable. So the way it works is you've got slots and holes, kind of like a rigid heddle loom. The action is one row's up, one row's down. I use a knife edge shuttle, and what I'm making is tape, like to tie a package, a parcel, an apron string, a suspender, that kind of thing. You run through. It's a little breezy, it keeps undoing my shuttle. And go back and pack. And you're going to end up with a strip. The width of the strip is kind of determined by the width of the yarn. Really skinny yarn or thread is going to give you like a ribbon or a shoelace. Something thick that can still fit through there is going to give you a wider, heavier product. So this, I don't remember what thread I've got on here. Is this 8-2, 8 something? Mercerized cotton is what's on here. So it's basically, that's what I just did. So go down, pack it in with a knife edge, run the shuttle through. Pretty simple. I've had kids really go to town on this and get it down pretty well, pretty fast.
And it's basically just plain weave, right?
It's plain weave. You can, I'm alternating two colors.
Okay.
I could have put like more of the brown on the side and gotten a border. You can get checkerboards and all kinds of stuff by how you have threaded it. There's a whole book on colonial weaving and patterns. Stripes are pretty common, checkerboards, that kind of thing. You can also use it for men's garters to hold your stockings up. I have a set I did like that with silk thread, which was really not easy to work with because there's just enough texture of the wood here that it rubbed on the silk.
Well, that's very interesting. And since I've never had a tape loom before on my YouTube channel, I'm glad you could show this.
Yeah. Happy to oblige anytime.
So there we are, YouTubers. The first edition of a tape loom on my weaving channel. Thank you, Peg.
Thank you, Andy.
Yeah, let's take the flavor.
Okay, YouTubers, now I said this is French and Indian War time period. Here you have a British soldier from I believe the 55th Regiment.
Yes.
And on this side, a French Marine in blue. So the French and Indian War was fought basically between the English colonists in North America and the French who were up in Canada. And there you see the two sides of that period. Hey there, YouTubers. Just time for a quick progress report. I'm home from the fine event at Heritage Hill, that F&I reenactment. It was a small one. But I'm still working on this green, teal, V-shaped, L-shaped shawl. I'm at the putsy part where I have to run back and forth from the front to the back of the loom for each thread as I pull it through. So I'm just going to show you how much I've got done here, and then I'm going to end this video. But before I turn the video off, let me thank all of you who are subscribers to my channel for taking the time to do that and for watching my videos. I hope you found that little excursion interesting. Let's see if we can aim this down. There. So you can see here, there's the underneath. Here's where I have threaded across. So I'm about halfway done. Just a couple of threads short of halfway with the conversion from warp becoming weft. And that's this line here. And then, of course, you can still see the warp there. One of the things I do is I tend to put the twisted fringe on this, most of it, while it's still on the loom. It's nice, steady. I can get some tension, and it keeps this area here where it's not been twisted yet from having the warp threads become loose. So every 2 or 3 inches, about every 2 inches, I take a break from weaving and just bring my little fringe twister up here, cut the fringe to about 6 inches and twist it in. I'm working on this, but it's slow and putsy, so it'll probably be another week or two before I finish it, because I just don't feel like sitting here steadily and working on it. Anyways, that's it for now. I'll still show you this when it gets done. I just don't know when that's going to be. Bye-bye.